Hi everybody, Chris here from True to Holistic. Now in this video I want to talk about mental illness and mental health, and I don't know if anybody knows my background. For the people that don't, I worked in the medical establishment as an orthopedic nurse for 13 years, and before that time, when I was learning to become a registered nurse and doing my training, I spent a bit of time working out in mental health outhouses in the community, which were essentially placed there as a bridging gap between people that had been mentally ill and had been in an inpatient ward, and then trying to branch out to go and fight for themselves and general life and be out in the community again. And so I noticed a lot of the way that the system was based upon treating and helping mental health people, and people that had schizophrenia and manic depressive syndrome or conditions, bipolar, psychosis, all these sorts of things. And a lot of it was based on medications. And what I noticed with the medications were that the whole idea or purpose of the medication was just to make them numb. Okay. And I had a really great conversation this morning with a client of mine who is also a healer, and about mental illness, and the fact that a lot of the people that have the mental illness and they go through the system, one, usually their perception is distorted at the time because they've got a mental illness. They feel like there's not a hell of a lot wrong, but the people on the outside that don't see that distortion of perception that they see will say, you're crazy, you've lost your mind and you need help. And quite often they get admitted into an inpatient unit in regards to mental health or mental illness. So when they reflect back on that time, they quite often don't see that as a very nice time, because they didn't have any rights, right? They didn't feel in control of their decision making. And quite often they feel like, they kind of kept me in that unit when really I had no choice of leaving at any particular time. One thing I must say, okay, they have a distortion of perception because something's happening in regards to their central nervous system and a number of other areas, which are quite highly energetic going on. And quite often, for people that have schizophrenia and psychosis, they're seeing things that other people cannot see. And because our mainstream model is based upon what we see, then they look at those people as being crazy because they're seeing something that's not there. Let's take the angle or perception of thinking there is something there. Now, what we know here with energy medicine is that in the 3D form, we can only see a fraction of 0.005% of what actually is there. So that is really a mainstream model of diagnosing and treating illness is based upon that fraction of a 0.005%. And there's so much stigmatism and still in regards to people like that. Okay, the systems have changed depending on where you are in the world. It's not all about just locking these people up in an institute to get them away from general community or the general public. It's more about getting them out in the community and getting them embraced into society. But essentially all the treatment methods are the same. Okay, and the whole idea of numbing their ability for their body to communicate is just generally wrong, isn't it? And that's what mental health's all about. And these people feel, even though they're taking the medication, which is supposed to be alleviating their symptoms, they feel dead inside. They feel numb inside. They feel like a walking zombie. And that's not the way forward, is it? Quite often they feel like they're not being heard, because again, our idea of what reality is disturbed. Because if we feel like those people are crazy because they're talking to people or saying something to something that's not there, maybe there's something is there. And what we know in energy medicine, as I say, there are things beyond the unseen that are causing health problems with us every day. Okay, no more than people that suffer with mental illness. entity attachments, negative energies based upon them, activations within them that perhaps they're seeing something that generally you and me don't see on a 3D form. So it's about moving ourselves out of this normal social norm box to finally figure out what is actually maybe going through the mind of this person. What is their perception currently like at the moment? So why I'm doing this video is because if you're somebody out there that suffers with mental illness, whether that's depression, whether that's a psychosis of some form, depressive, bipolar, schizophrenia, here at Truly Holistic, we cater for these things. We listen to your body, because these symptoms that you have is your body's ability and way of communicating to you what's going on. And here at Truly Holistic, we listen to that because we understand that the body is intelligent. There's an intelligence coming through that's trying to tell you something's not right. And I'm going to listen to that. I'm not going to fob that off and think that that's abnormal. Okay? I hate the word normal. Okay? Hate the word normal. Okay? Normal is bound upon rules and what the perceived reality of what we get told is reality is based upon. Okay? So wrong, right, abnormal, normal, that doesn't come into it in regards to getting a session here at Truly Holistic. Okay? There's no abnormal or normal. Okay? There is. It's just what is. Okay? Okay? And there's no good and bad. There's only experience. That's the way we look at things here. So if you're somebody that you're not getting listened to in regards to your mental illness, and you're sick of taking medication. Okay, I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to tell you stop all your medications. I'm here to tell you there is another option to help you with your mental illnesses and look at it in a way that is going to make a lot more sense to you, instead of just throwing pills down you and numbing you essentially so that you don't feel anymore. See, a lot of the medications that people are taking for, say, antidepressants, you look on the little label that the side effects include suicide. Now, isn't the medication supposed to stop that? Because that's why a lot of people get so depressed and get all psychosis, schizophrenia, to the point where they don't want to be here anymore. Okay? They want escapism from this reality that we're being told. We've been told what reality is. We haven't really experienced reality. Okay, and a lot of these mental health clients or people that are suffering with a mental illness are on the fringe of breaking away from the normal view of what reality is, and we should be actually encouraging that. We should be acknowledging that instead of critiquing them and saying, hey, you're talking to something that's not there, you're seeing something that's not there. Okay, all you're saying is abnormal, is not normal to social norms. So I already do work with people with mental illness, and we work on the central nervous system, which is your perception center. So if there's something going on, a negative energy or an entity or something going on in there that's making your central nervous system not work correctly, your perception of what reality will be distorted. There's no doubt about it. In regards to depression, that may be a disconnect with your soul or source, okay? And you're longing for that. You don't feel whole anymore. You don't feel yourself. Could be things that you've experienced in life. It could be abuse, trauma, verbal abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse. Could be a number of things. Could be past life stuff that's gone through many times in your lifetime that we can stop it, okay, and reverse it and get things back on track again. So there's a number of things that we can do. We can look at neurotransmitters. So balancing, and this is a mainstream model more, I think, is based upon neurotransmitters, dopamine, serotonin, GABA, and so on. We can balance those. A lot of the times, those neurotransmitters are created within the gut. And the gut is called the original brain or the primordial brain for a reason, because a lot of the chemicals that you need for your brain to function properly are made within the gut. So quite often, with mental health problems, quite often it's not the fact that the problem starts here, it starts within the gut, okay? Because you're a farmer of microbes, okay? There's more microbes and cells of microbes than your own cells, so you need that balance to be correct within the gut, and your gut is really the small intestine. That's the powerhouse of where you absorb all your nutrients that you get from your food, And if you've got issues there like a leaky gut and you've got yeast accumulation, mold accumulation, fungus accumulation, then that really impairs the gut's ability to, one, create the neurotransmitter, or two, be able to convert that neurotransmitter within the gut to the nervous system and to the brain to do the job. So that's what we work on here at Truly Holistic, and we look at everything in a very holistic nature. We work on the gut, make sure you don't have leaky gut, and repair the gut, and then all of a sudden those neurotransmitters can then be converted to the nervous system, to the brain, to remove the symptoms of what we label schizophrenia, depression, because they're just labels for a number of symptoms, okay? And then we don't just treat the symptoms by handing you medications. We work on the causes of why you're having the symptoms that you're having, because the symptoms are a communication measure to you to tell you something's not right. Quite often, it could be a hormonal imbalance, okay? Hormones are huge in regards to general health, okay? And they're not just sexual hormones, they'll affect your well-being and the way your mind works and the way you perceive reality. So we work on maintaining balance of hormones. There could be a negative intent or a negative energy, a curse, a spell, which is all negative intent, okay? We get kind of told that, you know, spell is like a witch with a big cauldron, this real outlandish view of what a spell is. But what a spell is just intent, our words. You think about when we're learning to write words, we have to get the spelling correct, right? There's the word there, spell. Okay, so it's not outlandish at all when we really look at it. A spell is just using intent, and whether that's in the energy world from an entity, or whether that's from a person in the 3D form, which we call the living reality, they can place a negative intent, and that can have an effect on you, and that's what we call a spell or a curse. Okay, and we can lift that. It may mean a mineral excess or a mineral deficiency that we need to correct. Okay, and we just make the intent, because we all have this innate capability to use our intent to heal or harm, okay, whether way we use it. And here at Truly Holistic, we use that power to create a healing effect for you. And I use sacred geometry tools to amplify that intent so it goes deeper into the body, has a more profound effect on your energy body, then that cascades up the levels into your physical reality, your physical manifestation. So there's a number of things that are causing it, and you know, I may have 10 people that has schizophrenia, and they may have 10 completely different reasons of why they have schizophrenia. As I say, schizophrenia is just a label for a bunch of symptoms, okay? And they just think, okay, you've got that, you've ticked all those boxes, I think you've got schizophrenia, okay? There's no exact science, okay? One thing I must say in regards to the medical community, it's not an exact science, hey, you've got schizophrenia, because a lot of the times we hear as well that people get misdiagnosed with certain labels, and they may go to one doctor and say, hey, you have bipolar, and then later on they go to someone else that for help in regards to suicide, they're getting suicidal ideational thoughts, and that person will say, no, you don't have bipolar, you have misdiagnosis. Now, just put yourself in that person's shoes, how they'd feel about how that one person said that, which is an expert, and the other person said something completely different. Again, they're just going based upon their experiences, okay, and based upon their knowledge of what symptoms go under what criteria of what label. So it doesn't give a lot of confidence to the person that then is being told, hey, you need to take these medications, you need to do this, based upon a theory of what you may have. So one thing about here at Truly Holistic is it's very specific. We find out specifically what's going on, whereabouts in the body. There's something, could be in the energetic body, it could be within the central nervous system, within the brain, it could be a number of things. We may find a tumor in there, we may find parasites in the brain, could be a number of things. And it's a very open-minded system, and we look at any possibility of what could be causing the problem. And I think that's the beauty of the way of the system, it's open-minded. There's no one criteria to heal or treat schizophrenia, because schizophrenia could be cause for a completely number of different reasons, and therefore we address it in a different way. So anyway, I thought I'd do this video about mental illness, and for anybody out there that would like a different way of looking at your mental illness and treating the mental illness and helping you with that, come and book an appointment here at trulyholistic.net, where you can book your own appointment in a time that's suitable for you anywhere in the world that works with distance healing, and you just put your time zone in and it allows you to figure out a time that's going to work for you, and then we just jump online either through Skype or a phone call to do the session, and I'll go through it with you, everything that comes up, so you have an understanding, and also you feel empowered when you leave the session, that you know that, hey, I can do something about this, I've got some hope about the situation, I can get rid of my mental illness. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.